Today, we are joined by Dr. Cara Graham. I've been told specifically to say doctor. Yes, you did. Right. Today, we're joined by Dr. Cara Graham. She's an ex-student athlete. She is a PhD student in sports psychology. She's a cancer kicker, and she's just amazing. Right. Today, how are you?
I'm good.
It's been a long time. We've been waiting to do this interview for about a year now. I've been busy, you've been busy. You've been over that side of the world.
Yeah, I'm not here that much.
Yeah, but we're here now. First question. What was it like for you growing up as a child, loving athletics, wanting to do athletics? And why athletics?
It's the only thing I'm good at. Run fast, turn left. I can't catch, I can't throw. I've got no upper body strength. So that was the only thing. I don't know, I just love the sport. Like, I used to watch the Olympics from age 6. I remember watching the 96 Olympics. I remember watching Sydney. I love athletics. I just love everything about it, from pole vault to shot put, sprinting.
Wow.
I love all of it.
So what age did you start?
As I ran at 3 years old, I was that idiot child that stopped and waved at their mum and dad when they started cheering at me. They're like, "Go, Cara!" And I just stopped and smiled and waved at them.
Yeah.
And I lost that race. That was my first ever race.
Oh, God.
But then from there, I started running properly at about 7 or 8, went down to a local club, which was Ilford back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, that was it. I went from Ilford, then I wanted more competition and bigger stuff, went to Newham. Went to Blackheath and Bromley, so I went through the ranks just trying to find more competition.
Okay. And the university, why did you choose America to go to university? What's the story behind that?
The truth is, I don't tell too many people this, is I watched Love and Basketball at 13 when it came out, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to do what they did. I want to do my sport and fall in love and have the dream. And, the last scene when she ends up on the Lakers team with the baby. That was the goal. Yeah. The goal was to do all of that. And I wanted to go to USC where they went. And my mum and dad actually took me out to see the university when I was about 16. And that was me sold. I'm going to America. I'm coming to this university. I ended up in Iowa, which is definitely not California.
Far from it.
Definitely not. I don't know how I ended up at Iowa, but I ended up at the University of Iowa, and it was the best move for me personally. I had to be at that school, I think.
Okay. So what was the reason behind you going to Iowa instead of any other?
Well, the coach from Iowa was persistent in recruiting me, so he called me once a week, which is how much they're allowed to do in America, in the NCAA rules. He was also Jamaican, so my parents were also Jamaican. So that, for my mum and dad, was he's the one, he's the guy, he's talking our language. Yeah. He'll keep an eye on you, you're not going to get up to any craziness. And truth be known, I hated him. And when he used to call, I used to hide, and then I used to unplug the phone. But then his assistant coach would call, and he's actually from Barbados.
Okay.
And he was just a really lazy, the complete opposite of the head coach. So between the two of them, I just felt like that was going to be the right place. I went out to visit when I was about 17, and the way that other girls on the team were with the coaches, their relationship, for me, I was like, yeah, that's the kind of relationship I want to have with my coach.
Okay, so what was the name of the coaches?
So Coach Jimmy Grant was my head coach at Iowa, and then the assistant coach, Coach Victor Houston. Coach Grant actually passed away my freshman year. Mm-hmm. And then Coach Houston, I'm still in contact with. He's like a big brother to me, and if I need help with something, I kind of call him, and he's been in my life since he recruited me.
Okay. So what was the transition like from the UK athletic system to the collegiate system?
It's hard because out there it's a job. Here, you go training and you have a little chat with your friends, and warm up is an hour and a half. Over there, it's you got 2 hours to do your entire workout. So you get there and warm up, do a full workout, 20 minutes recovery, even everything's got to fit into a small time span. I remember one of my teammates saying to me, you take forever to warm up. I was like, I can't warm up in 20 minutes. I'm not used to it. She was like, practice started 40 minutes ago and you're still warming up. We've got a whole workout to do. I've got class. So it's very demanding practice-wise. Then the competition that you're getting is insane. I remember running against Blessing Okabari my freshman year. Okay. I can't really call it racing because she went past me so fast. It was just a blur going past me. And then you got to do your schoolwork. You're on a coach for 9 hours on a Thursday and then 9 hours on a Saturday. It's like you travel a lot or you fly. The transition is hard. It takes a good semester, I would say, to really find your groove and get used to just being everything. Being an athlete, being a student, having a social life, being in America, adjusting to everything takes a little while.
Okay. So what year did you go there?
I went January 7th, 2007.
2007.
Yep.
And so what was it like when you went into your second semester?
My second semester, so my head coach had just passed away that summer. We went back in August, and I think I was in the States about 3 days before I got diagnosed with cancer. So like that was the end of that season. So the second semester wasn't the greatest, but when I came back, everything was smoothish.
Smoothish. How was that?
Just because like my coaching, coaches had changed. Coach Houston had moved on to another school, and I was just struggling to kind of get back from being sick and finding myself, and then being back on the track with a new coach who didn't know me, and we had to learn each other, and it was a struggle. But once I found my feet, it was pretty nice.
So what was the fight like for you with the cancer?
I always say to people, they don't call cancer a fight for no reason, and it is a fight. I remember just feeling, I did 6 rounds of chemotherapy and a month of radiation, and it's like doing your worst workout every single day.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like doing like 6 300s every single day.
Yeah.
Like that way your body feels, it's not natural. Like chemotherapy it's a toxic drug. So that was hard, and I just had to find myself again. It's kind of getting to know myself again at 19. It took me probably about 2 years to really find who I was outside of that cancer. It kind of just took over my life for such a long time.
Yeah. So with the track and field, were you able to train after you got back from the chemo?
I finished chemo, I think, like a Wednesday, and I started training like the next Wednesday.
Wow.
I was determined to come back. Like I wanted to go back to America. Like they'd held my scholarship for me. My university, Iowa, had been amazing. Like they paid for my treatments whilst I was out there. They'd looked after me really well, and I was like, I want to pay them back. I want to get back out there. And I was like a bull in a china shop. I finished chemo and I was like, let's get down to the track. And I started training literally a week later.
So mentally, obviously, it must have been extremely hard, but physically, how?
Physically, at one point, I couldn't walk up and down my stairs in my house without being out of breath.
Yeah.
So then it was kind of like, how do I start running? How do you start competing? How do you start racing? How do you get your mind into that mindset again? And I had like goggles on where it's like I just have to get back on the track, but I didn't think of all the other things that it takes to get into like a competition fitness.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time, and I was just determined I had to run.
So is that mentality that was just there?
Yeah.
Is that the track and field mentality you feel that you had to be
I think because that athletics for me, that's what I define myself as. I define myself as an athlete. So to take that away is like, well, who do I become now?
Yeah.
And I was determined that cancer's not going to take away my identity, so to speak. So yeah, I had to come back. I had to prove to people and to myself, I can come back from this. I can beat the odds and come back and compete at a high level after having cancer.
So did you have doubters?
Oh yeah, I mean, one of my doctors told me straight up, she was like, if you had never run again, I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
I had like radiation on my lungs, and she was like, your lung capacity is going to be changed.
Yeah.
And I remember asking her, well, what about athletics? Because my job is to save your life. I really don't care about your athletics career.
Wow.
And from that, I was like, well, I've got to prove, more so to myself, but to other people, I can come back from this and I can do well.
Was there ever a moment where you really thought, I don't want this?
A lot. So when my first race back on the track in 2008, I cried.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be there. I'd worked so hard to be there, but I wasn't emotionally ready. That season was a complete disaster. And I just thought, why am I doing this? But after a while, I kind of you have to take time, just trust the process and trust your gut. I'm a big believer, you got to trust your gut.
Yeah.
And my gut was telling me, just keep going, keep pushing, keep working hard, and you will see some benefits. And luckily for me, I did.
Okay. So your PhD in sports psychology, did that help you through your time, or was that something that you picked up after to do?
No, that was something I picked up. I mean, I wasn't an academic during my time as an undergrad or a master's. It was never part of a plan, but I had an advisor who said to me, do something you're passionate about. And I was like, I'm passionate about student athletes. I think it's a unique experience. I don't think anybody, unless you've been a student athlete in America, you quite understand how taxing it can be. So for me, it was like, let me take my own experience and what I overcame to see if other people that didn't have, life and death situations, but just normal student athletes, have had the same kind of doubts, the same kind of fears, the same kind of anxieties. And that's kind of what's pushed me into the direction of doing the PhD.
Okay. So what advice would you give to a student that wants to make that transition over to the NCAA?
Ironically enough, I just started working for a company. It's called Right Track Sports.
Okay.
And what we do is helping English kids get to America. That's literally everything that we do. And you need somebody, I think, to help you, guide you through that process, because there are so many moving parts. You've got to take the SATs, you've got to get a visa, you've got to find a coach, you've got to know how to talk scholarship, because not every coach is going to offer a full scholarship. Okay. So what our company does is we go through all of that and we do it all for them. And all they really have to do is run fast or throw far, and we sort out everything else.
Okay. Is there anyone that you can say that is going to be the next one?
Amber Anning came through our agency.
Okay.
Who else is there? Carl Johnson, he just signed at Penn State. He's a 400-meter hurdler. He came through our agency. So we've got some. Stephen McKenzie, Scottish long jumper. He's going to be signing with the university probably in the next couple of months. So we try and get some of the bigger names to kind of sign with us and continue their careers in America, because what America can do for them, there's no GB university that can really do that.
What do you attribute your success to?
Hard work, but I mean, breaking that down for me would be like, I believe that there's a higher power. I believe that I serve a God who has placed me in this position, that everything happens for a reason. So I always feel like what I'm doing is not just serving myself, it's always serving a higher power. I've been given a gift. And for me, right now, like, it used to be running, and I thought that was my personal gift. And then it was kind of like, well, what's the next gift? What next gift has God given you that you need to share with people? And I think the sports psychology and being able to allow and understand other student athletes and their experience is what I consider to be my next gift. So I'm mad disciplined. Like, writing my dissertation, I was in the office 8 a.m. every day. I would leave at 3, go to work, and then come back in the evening until 11, 12 o'clock. I was there every Saturday, I was there every Sunday. And that's kind of been who I've been as an athlete. So I started really getting into athletics when I was about 15, when all of my friends are going out and living the good life. And I was like, no, I'm going training, like I'm going track, like I got competition this weekend. I'm not drinking because, English schools is coming up, or, south of England. I was that boring person that was just all about the sport. And I feel like to do something great, you have to sacrifice something that's hard. Nothing big comes easily. Yeah, it's true. So I always try my best to make sure am I sacrificing? If I'm not sacrificing, then clearly it's not big enough. I'm not pushing myself hard enough. So as a young athlete, it was, okay, I'm not going to the parties. I'm not doing that. When I went over to America, I'm missing out on birthday parties with my family. So many like not Christmases, like birthdays and big celebrations, christenings. I was never, allowed to be a part of. And then still being in America 13 years later, I'm still missing out on those things. Yeah. I'm still sacrificing. But I feel like God has placed me and given me such an incredible opportunity that to waste it would be sinful. So I try my best to always make the most of an opportunity, even when it looks a bit bleak. Just keep pushing and just know what goal I've got in mind. And I'm one of those people that writes her goals down at the beginning of every year and how I'm going to get there. So 5-year goal, 3-year goal, 2-year goal, 1-year goal, what I'm going to do at the end of the month, and how am I going to get to those goals. And that's just how I've always been. And I write it down every New Year's, and then I open it up every New Year's and I check off what I've done and look really sad at the things that I haven't done.
Okay, so what's the best piece of advice you would give to a student that's making the transition?
Trust the process and take time looking at a coach. I think it's really easy for English kids to look at America and it all sparkles. Okay. But at the same time, you've got to have that relationship with your coach. Yeah. You've got to trust your coach. So my coach in the UK was Lloyd. I trusted him implicitly. If he told me to do something, go to a race in Scotland, I was getting on a train and I was going, because I trusted that he had the best interest for myself. Yeah. going to America, you have to do the same thing. You got to take out the glitz and the glam and who they've got training there. If Lolo Jones is at LSU, don't go to LSU just because Lolo's there. Go because you really love the coach and you love their program and your teammates are people you feel you can mesh with. Because in America, you spend a lot of time with your teammates. This is not just Tuesdays and Thursdays at the track. You live with them, you go to class with them, you go to study hall with them. They are your family.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that when you go and visit universities that you're really paying attention to just the team atmosphere.
Okay. And your best piece of advice for anyone that's fighting cancer at the moment?
Have faith. Have faith that it will always work out. And that sounds really silly, but doctors have their job, but I also believe that as the patient, you have your job as well, which is to think positive, to believe in the treatment. It's not like being an athlete. You've got to trust your coach.
Yeah.
As a patient, you've got to trust your doctor.
Okay.
And if you don't trust your doctor, then you can't do your part, which is just being healthy and being confident. So I think being an athlete and being a cancer survivor is kind of part and parcel of the same. You've got to be strong, you've got to be tough, you've got to have faith, you've got to be able to pick yourself up when you have a bad day.
Yeah.
And you've got to trust the person who's in charge, which is your coach and then your doctor.
Okay. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the channel. And I wish you the best of luck when you go back to America.
Thank you.
And show them that smile.